Hi, I'm Peach PRC and I'm taking over Rage this morning, and I have curated a bunch of videos that I love, some from SingStar and some from Tumblr era, some from my childhood, some curveballs in there, and I think it's going to be really fun, so stay tuned. This one is I Feel Better by Hot Chip, and it's one that I found on Rage when I was a kid in my room on this little pink box TV that I had in my room. And I became so fixated on this video because it was just the most insane thing I've ever seen. And I think it actually really inspired a lot of the stuff that I make today. I thought it was really cool. I became a fan after a while, and now I actually like the song because I watched the video so many times. Addison Rae, Headphones On. I love this song and I love this video. I just think she's so creative and cool, and I think she's clever and fun. And I think this video really shows that, and I think it was sort of like the first step into the Addison Rae world, and I think that was the first time people kind of maybe saw her as someone who could be an artist and someone who could be creative and someone to watch. So I found that really inspiring. This next one is Thriller by Michael Jackson, and I threw this in because I used to have this on a VHS and I used to put it in every single night to fall asleep, and it had this really creepy intro, and I'm sure you'll see it in a second, but it had this really like spoken word, spooky, haunted house vibe, and I used to fall asleep to that at like 8 years old, and I loved it, and I'd be like tucking myself in listening to Thriller by Michael Jackson, and I'd watch the video every single night. I have it memorized, burned into my brain. I thought it was cinema. It was truly so groundbreaking to me, and I think actually quite groundbreaking for the time. I think when it came out there wasn't anything like it, and it was a huge moment for music videos. So here's Thriller by Michael Jackson. Next up we have Video Killed the Radio Star by The Buggles, and I chose this one for obvious reasons, but I just think it's actually relevant for today's world too. I think maybe you could replace it with AI killed the internet star these days. I think it's always going to be relevant, and it seems to always transform and be something that every generation can relate to, because I think even after the internet killed the video star, and then AI killed the internet star. It's always going to evolve, I think. So I find that this song always comes back to be relevant, and the video is just so of its time and so cool to see. This one is I Believe in a Thing Called Love by Darkness. And this is another SingStar one that I chose, but I used to love this video so much. Like genuinely, I would play it on SingStar just to watch the video. I couldn't really sing it like that, but I loved the video. It's so camp and so theatric, and it's like done in this sort of like, I don't know, 80s dreamscape world. It gives a little bit like Austin Powers almost, and I just think it's so cool and silly, and it made me smile so much as a kid and still does now. So this is I Believe in a Thing Called Love. Next up we have All the Things She Said by Tattoo. This one I feel I chose for obvious reasons. It's just such a good video, and I watched it a lot growing up because of the cinema, and it's just so beautiful. And I think I also used to get behind this one on karaoke. It's a great video, and I feel like there wasn't a lot of videos, at least that I saw, that were doing this kind of thing back then. Like I think it was quite bold to put out a video of two girls going at it in the rain. So this is Tattoo by Tattoo. All the Things She Said by Tattoo. Next up we have Year 3000 by Busted, and this is another video that just has so much going on. I love this video because it's like so half in the real world and half like cartoon. I think that was really innovative for the time and cool, and I think it gave it a very futuristic feel, which is obviously what they were going for. But the song and the video feel very nostalgic to me, and it feels like a time in music videos where people were being bold and colourful and silly and not taking it seriously, and I really love that. So this is Year 3000. Next up we have Murder on the Dance Floor, and I love this video. I think another SingStar video. I'm sorry that these are all from SingStar, but they're so iconic, so it makes sense that they were all on that first disc. But this video is another like femme fatale type narrative, which I'm obviously a sucker for. I think that's so cool, and I loved watching it unfold. I think that was maybe the first time I saw a video as a kid where I kind of was able to put the pieces together and be like, oh, okay, she's sabotaging all of the people on the dance floor so that she can win at the end. But like as a kid, I just was like, wow, pretty colors. So it's nice to like put the pieces together now as an adult. So this is Murder on the Dance Floor. Next up we have Escape by Enrique Iglesias, and this song is a classic and one of my favorites. I put this in my set a while ago when I was touring, and back when I had never toured before, and I thought you could just like put whatever. I thought it was like karaoke time, so I was putting my favorite songs in, and I did that as an encore and came out like full gusto to sing Escape. I thought everyone knew that song, apparently not, but I came out singing it with my full chest and no one knew it. But I stuck to it and I sang it every night. So this is Escape by Enrique Iglesias. Next up we have Hold It For Her, which is another one by me. And this song was one that I wrote about grief. I was struggling with a lot of grief I was feeling for no reason, about things that weren't even going wrong, but I was constantly feeling devastated by the thought of one day my dog dying, or the thought of losing my loved ones one day, just like grieving things that hadn't actually ended yet, and it was just robbing me of the joy of living in the moment. And I wanted to write a song about how that happens and how sometimes I just hold that for my future self. My future self hands me a bit of her grief and I just hold it for a bit, and it sucks, but that's what the song is about. So this is Hold It For Her. Thanks for hanging out. I'll be back later tonight. I've got even more clips to show you and talk about, so stay tuned. Hey, I'm Peach PRC and I'm hosting Rage tonight, and I've curated a bunch of videos that I really love, some really funny ones and some really silly ones and some really cool ones, and some that inspired a lot of my own artistry and my own videos. So I can't wait to share those ones and talk about them with you guys, so stay tuned. This one is Take On Me by a-ha, and I used to put this on SingStar all the time. It was like my go-to, so I watched the video so many times just singing it all the time on the first version of SingStar on the PlayStation 1, and I thought it was really genius. I loved that it was all done sort of picture book style, like or drawn, like a flick book, whatever you call it. I thought that was really cool, and that's why I chose this one. This is Take On Me by a-ha. This one I chose purely just, I'm so inspired by the video. I think it's genius and I think it's such a cool concept, and it actually inspired my video for Miss Erotica. I thought seeing him as like part bike, I was like, that's so cool. I want to do that in my own mythical way and bring that into my Peach PRC world. And I wanted to do that as like a mythical being on the bottom half. And I wanted it to be a bit like body horror and like silicone flesh, kind of like what he's got with that bike. That really was like mind-blowing to me and inspiring. I think it's such a cool video. No idea what he's saying, but the video is cool. Up next, we are going to be watching Artificial Angels by Grimes, and I chose this one just because I think it's really clever and I think it's cool and different, and I like that she has in the video these like AI anime girls with these like primitive humans, and I think that that's a really cool juxtaposition, and I think she was clever for coming up with it. This one is Gnarly by Cat's Eye, and I love those girls. I think they're so cutie and they're so fun, and I love what they're doing, and I love pop girls that are just weird and just do pop stuff. I love really glossy bubblegum pop, and I think Gnarly is such a glossy video. It's so gnarly and weird and cool, and I love it. Hey, it's Peach PRC, and I'm up late with you cookers tonight on Rage, so enjoy these videos. This one is Insecure by I Am Not Shane, and it's a video that I found when I was maybe like 19, and I just thought it was really cool. I thought that it was interesting in a way that I find a lot of artists make videos that are a bit weird out of necessity. I think sometimes they come up with creative ideas because they're broke, and I think that it actually leads to really interesting concepts. And I think this video is really simple, but I think shows a lot of artistry. This next one is Robbers by the 1975, and they are a band that is really influential to me, and they shaped so much of how I write my music, how I go about my artistry as a whole. And this video is like just the most iconic of theirs, I feel. I feel like every 1975 fan knows this video, and if you were on Tumblr back in those days, you've definitely seen it and you get it. So this is Robbers. I don't need to say anything else about it. Next up is Smile by Lily Allen, and I chose this one because it's such a fun video and it's really clever, and I love a video that has a bit of a narrative. Like, I like following along the story and along with the song, and it's kind of got this sort of femme fatale narrative that I think is really cool to see in videos, and it's this really tongue-in-cheek, fun sort of, I don't know what the word is to explain it, but things just keep going wrong and she keeps sort of like making this guy's life fall apart, and I think that's really clever. This one I chose because it was another video that was very influential to my artistry growing up, and at the time when it came out, it was very groundbreaking and cool to me. It was I hadn't seen anything like it, and I think it's very of its era. Like, it's very of the time of like that Tumblr sort of 2009 like scene pop sort of world, and I loved that at the time. That was so my vibe. So this video was like everything to me. This is 1999 by Troye Sivan and Charlie XCX, and I chose this one because it's actually a song that I used to have in my playlist when I was a stripper, and I used to put this one on and go crazy up there. So I threw this in because I actually used to watch the music video a lot because I loved seeing all of the like nostalgic eras, and I loved seeing Charlie XCX as Steve Jobs with the little like the fit. She was so fierce as that, so that's why I chose this one. Hey, it's Peach PRC. I hope you enjoyed the playlist so far. I got more to come. This next one is Sex on the Beat by Adela, and I threw this in there just because I think she's so cool. She serves, and I just love to see a girl that serves, and I think she does a really good job at that. And I love this video because it's just kind of like gritty and weird. Like, I love a girl that isn't afraid to get kind of ugly with things, and she could never be because she's gorgeous, but it's just so cool to see someone so beautiful do something a little bit raw and a little bit gritty and dirty, and I think it's a really cool video for that. This next one is Josh. It's one of my videos, and it's a couple of years old now, but it's still one of my favorite videos I've ever done. It's one of the first videos I ever did, and I just went all in, and I was so excited to be in my own music video. So I was like, I think I was actually a little bit drunk, but I was really excited. I was in my full glam and my pink pigtails, and I was like giving it 110% energy, doing my full like infomercial moment because I was so pumped. And a lot of that video was actually inspired by the stuff that I watched at night on my little pink box TV, and one of the things I watched at night was Rage. So it's kind of full circle to have that in this lineup. Next we have Like a Girl Does, another one of my videos, and this is such a cool video. I really wanted to do something that was not narrative driven because I'd done a couple of videos that were very storytelling, and this one was just a fun, silly song, so I wanted the video to be fun and silly, and I really wanted to pay homage to like those early like Kylie Minogue type videos that were like mostly green screen and were in this sort of, like, it looks tacky on purpose. Like, I wanted it to feel kind of bad and be a bit like janky rendering. Like, I just wanted it to feel very studio, very like green screen, and it turned out perfect, and it was so cool to see all of the editing after, and the big like vibrator spaceship. It was just awesome. So it's one of my favorite videos, and this is Like a Girl Does. This next one is one of mine. It is Miss Erotica, and it was one of my favorite videos to ever do, and I fought so hard to get this video made, and no one wanted to do a flesh horse body. It was really hard to get anyone to agree to make a giant like silicone horse for me to get into because I was not compromising on the horse. But eventually we did find someone to make my dreams come true, and this is one of my most like fantastical, whimsical dreams come to life. Like, it's so 70s fantasy, and yeah, it's just different from anything I've done before, and I'm so proud of it. So this is Miss Erotica. Thanks for hanging out. I've been Peach PRC, and I hope you enjoyed my list of videos and maybe found some that inspired you or some that you really enjoyed and loved too. So thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you next time.